In the previous episode, in order to become Rudeus' strength, Eris became a disciple of the sword god, Del, and began her grueling training. Now, let's shift our perspective to Rudeus. Waking up from his dream, he gazed at Roxy, who looked like a masterpiece of art right before his eyes, and couldn't help but thank the heavens for this blessing. As much as he wanted to admire Roxy's sleeping face a little longer, he had a busy morning ahead and had to wake her up. Although they were now husband and wife, Roxy still felt a bit shy facing Rudeus completely naked. After getting dressed, Rudeus went to the living room and found Sophie taking care of Lucy. Compared to Rudeus' shameless nature, Roxy always felt a bit awkward around Sophie. Noticing Roxy's embarrassment, Sophie took the initiative to ask how her night was, gently easing the tension. Taking the opportunity, Rudeus asked Norn about their mother's condition. Although several months had passed since they returned home and there were still no signs of Zenith's memory recovering, Zenith had gradually started showing slight reactions to Norn, who was always by her side. This made Rudeus believe that Zenith would eventually make a full recovery. Just then, Aisha and Lilia finished preparing breakfast. Despite everything they had been through, Rudeus felt incredibly happy just being able to gather with his family like this. Starting today, Rudeus and Sophie were officially returning to school, and Roxy had also joined Runaway Magic University as a magic teacher. Although she was glad that Rudeus had introduced her to everyone right away, Roxy playfully pretended to be upset that he hadn't publicly announced she was his wife during the introduction. Startled, Rudeus quickly pulled her into a hug to prove his love. Seeing this, Sophie also playfully asked if Rudeus had anything to say to her. Looking at his two adorable wives, Rudeus couldn't help but loudly confess his love to them right there in public. At school, Norn temporarily parted ways with Rudeus and the others. The cute and hardworking Norn was quite popular at the university, which brought Rudeus great peace of mind. But just like any older brother, if any suspicious guy tried to make a move on Norn, he wouldn't mind teaching him a painful lesson. Rudeus' friends were thrilled that he was returning to campus life. However, Cliff was curious as to why Rudeus hadn't sought him out despite being back for so long, wondering if Rudeus was intentionally avoiding him. The truth was exactly that. Since Cliff was a devout Noah's follower, Rudeus had no idea how to tell him about his second wife. However, secrets are hard to keep. When Roxy mentioned her relationship with Rudeus during her class introduction, Cliff instantly understood why Rudeus had been hiding from him. Realizing he was caught, Rudeus simply and obediently begged for Cliff's forgiveness. Cliff didn't say much, since Rudeus wasn't a Noah's follower and didn't have to follow the same doctrines. Still, Cliff hoped Rudeus would be more mindful of Norn's feelings. Norn had mentioned more than once that she wanted to have a harmonious marriage like Rudeus and Sophie in the future, so she must have been quite disappointed about Rudeus taking a second wife. Hearing this, Rudeus felt even more guilty and quickly promised to pay more attention to Norn's feelings. Seeing Rudeus' missing hand, Cliff didn't press the issue further. Just then, Sanova stepped in to smooth things over. Saying he had prepared a special gift for Rudeus, he pulled out a glove and slipped it onto Rudeus' thumb. Though confused, Rudeus followed Sanova, so Ed enchanted the incantation. To his surprise, the next second, he could control the glove as naturally as if his hand had grown back. It turned out to be a magical tool that could be controlled according to the user's will. Sanova had originally crafted it to prevent himself from breaking his dolls with his monstrous strength. Never expecting it to be so useful for someone with a missing hand, to test whether he could cast magic smoothly with this new setup, the group headed to the training grounds to experiment. The results were a complete success, leaving Rudeus overjoyed, learning that the magical tool didn't have a name yet. Rudeus took parts of both Sanoba's and Cliff's names, dumping it the Zarifu artificial hand. Back home, Rudeus happily shared the news with Sophie and Roxy, adding that now he could finally hug both of them to his heart's content. Rudeus was thoroughly satisfied with this peaceful and happy life. But how long would such days last? With this thought in mind, Rudeus began his usual prayer. The object of his prayer was, Roxy's Panties. Follow my channel to get the latest episode updates first.